We may now be live. I'm just checking, and I can confirm we are live. So welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Extremes, as well as all of the Slam Jam channels. So smash those subscribe buttons. We're going to be covering all kinds of stuff, including what's going on with WWE after the Clash in Paris, what's going on in AEW, what's going on in TNA, and just basically what's going on. We'll do all of this and so much more after the intro.
We're locked in a cage, it's the Slam Jam Show. We're dynamite, you better feel alive. We're better than you, and you know it. Yeah. If you don't like it, we got two words for you. Slam Jam, Slam Jam. Feel the power, feel the roar. Slam Jam, it's the smackdown you've been waiting for. You can't see us, Chico, you've been serving hard time. Ooh, yeah. Slam Jam, and that's the bottom line. Slam Jam, now it's a Slam Jam wrestling show. We're life for life, the girl is the big show. You got no chance when you're real forget. That's the risk, that's the worst. If you smell what we're cooking, it's a Slam Jam wrestling show. The champion's here. Snap into a Slam Jam. The Slam Jam show. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know. It's the Slam Jam show. Raise your glass. One big ass. It's the Slam Jam Bad Show on you. Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to Slam Jam. So we're going to be discussing all kinds of stuff. We may have others joining us presently, but Ian, always prompt, always on time. You are here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Bonjour to the people.
Yes,
It being
bonjour.
Clash in
We have
Paris,
just
I
had
guess.
the Clash in Paris. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get into that. We had some predictions for it. I honestly can't remember how close we were or were not. I think we were pretty good. I think we were pretty good.
It
along
was
the way.
it was fairly predictable, I guess, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah. I think the big headline coming out of it was that Becky turned up. They're pairing her with Seth again in the on-screen pairing that has absolutely no chemistry, and yet there is a child between them as well.
Yeah.
And yet this is obviously leading to the spoiler non-spoiler return of AJ Lee.
Yeah.
This is what I'm most excited about. Is this will be the first time AJ Lee and AJ Styles have been in the same promotion. So when they say AJ now, it will always need clarification.
Gonna go, yeah.
Well, exactly, absolutely. But yeah, what were your general thoughts on Clash in Paris overall?
Well, I think it's telling that you say the biggest thing to come out of it is what they're doing with Becky and AJ Lee, because I thought the whole show was pretty mid, if I'm being.
Oh my god! Like the first half of the show was really quite rough to watch.
That Bronson Reed match was long, and he's always been the one of the Vision that is his style of working doesn't quite click with me so much. He's got the Tsunami over, which is huge, but I don't really see much in him beyond being a heavy, being a tag team partner perhaps, or being a heater. Him going, what was it? I've got it here, 22 minutes. And that was the match, was 22 minutes with him and Roman. And then
the match was only 22 minutes.
And the angle afterwards was more like...
Yeah, it was... Yeah, exactly. I remember when we were watching it, when it was on live, Assad and I were like messaging on the Slam Jam chat about it. And we were like, this is 53 minutes in. And these are the only people that have been there.
I was very glad I wasn't... Oh, here we go.
Hey.
Hello, Dave. How's it going?
Yeah, good. How are you guys?
Yeah, feeling the love tonight, Dave.
Much
feeling
love
the love
to you all, of course.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't trust my wife at all. She just came up and get her laptop and went down again. It's like, I suddenly saw blink twice for okay, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh,
Wait. So you didn't write that?
no, my wife wrote it.
Oh, unbelievable. Right. So, for context, there we suddenly just got a message which was like, what did it say? I love you all. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, I was like, shit, what's happened? Right. I was like, what does this mean? It's like,
I
Dave.
just thought, well, he's put that in the wrong chat. I don't know.
Yeah, well, true. Okay, but yeah, so we're a few days removed from Clash in Paris, Dave. Have you seen the show?
Are we live now? Or is this a pre-show?
Yeah, we are live.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no. Sorry, ask him.
Oh, right. Clash in Paris. Did you see the show?
Did I see the show? Well, much like you guys last week saying, "Oh, did you watch the AEW show?" I'm going to say no. Let's move on, shall we? No.
Well, no.
I
Like,
watched that last week. Going
the difficult thing.
Get the show name right, guys. Come on.
Do you know what? I was very ill, Dave. I was very ill. Very ill.
I have watched majority of Clash in Paris. I haven't watched the main event.
Oh, okay. So the main my view on it, we were kind of saying about like the first half of the show. It was a real slog. It was like the whole show was basically just Cody, not Cody. What am I saying? See, I don't even have the card right. Was Cena and Logan, and then the main event, and everything else was just filler.
I was watching it, the opening bit, the whole. Obviously, they had the same thing. This is my issue with WWE pay-per-view PLEs in general. Is the pace is so slow. That's why it's such a slog. That first bit, if you start the very start of the show, the very start with all that rubbish of so and so is going to be doing this, and they're walking into the arena, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just doing like the video intro and the speeches and songs and things, and just getting into the first match.
Yeah,
from the opening of the show to the point where they cut off from Roman being stretchered out after the first match and going to like whatever the break was for there. That entire stretch was 52 minutes.
Yeah,
and we felt every single second of it.
I couldn't believe it. Because give. I know a lot of people don't like AEW for the fact that sometimes they don't stay on moments for like quite long enough. So like things like Cope and Christian's Union, that sort of thing, or other things like that, big moments like title wins and things like that. They don't stay on there. They have to get to the next thing. But you know what? Sometimes that's good. Keep the quick pace going from the next bit. Let's go. Let's keep the pace going. Let's get a good pace going. This was just Roman wins the match. Then it takes 5 minutes to throw his shoes out, sign shoes and all that stuff. Then Braun Breaker does a spear. Then it takes another 5-10 minutes before he delivers the next spear. Then Bronson Reed takes about 3 minutes between each tsunami and things like that. It's like there's no immediacy. There's nothing leisure on there. I felt bad for that crowd because that crowd were amazing.
Okay,
into it.
Okay, here's a little. I don't know if I can screen share. I'm definitely going to get told off for this, but it's just still images, so this should be fine unless it just doesn't work. So let me. Where's my screen share shizzle? Okay, so can I? Oh, he's not going to let me do it. Oh, he won't even let me do it. Look at that. Okay, so what I thought I could at least show the still image of the screen. There's some blocker though. The show was on for at least 14 minutes before the opening bell. And then, by the looks of it, we are at tsunamis. I don't know, So he's with Heyman in the ring. So it was about a 20-minute or whatever long match.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, 52 minutes is still going on. I thought a couple of things happened. I was like, well, Braun Breaker is clearly late. They're like trying to buy time here or something. And then I remember this story. I can't remember if it was like a Jim Cornette story or something like this about a Monday Night Raw in the 90s where there's like 4 wrestlers arrived at the building. Like I think him and Vader and then Duke Droese and something like this. And the show had to begin. It was Monday Night Raw or whatever show. And so they put out the first 2 wrestlers. They wrestle their match and they're like, oh no, like there's no one else still arrived. Go back and say, well, you were lucky that you beat me. and you could never beat me again. And they had to go out basically and do the match again. And then they just sent out Vader or someone to beat them up afterwards. And they were like, okay, some other people have arrived. And they were that close to just being like, yeah, we've run out of wrestlers. And it felt like that. It was just like so long with Roman, Braun, and Braun. And then it was like Jey Uso turned up eventually. You know, he's just like in his whatever he's arrived to the arena in. And
I said to my wife, I said, did he sprint from like Lyon? Like, because he was so long coming out.
Yeah.
And I think my issue with it stretches to, like, I agree with your broad points. I think my thing is, if they'd have mixed it up with what type of note they were hitting for 52 minutes, whatever, then fine, do a long mega segment. But it was the same tone again and again and again. And like, the tsunami's over, but if you've seen one, you've seen them all, you know? And we did not need a 22 minute and 5 second match between Roman and Bronson to get us there. Like, they were just going to do that, like, you know.
But now they've written Roman off. He probably will be back at Survivor Series. They'll do a War Games, and they'll have the Vision against Roman and whoever they put Roman with this time. And
it'll be the Vision and the NFTs against Roman and the Batu and all of those guys, probably.
Yeah.
Big combo War Games may have done.
So long as they keep the Wyatts away.
It's too predictable. There's no way the Wyatts will come onto them in a second. Like, the thing is, I really wanted to like the show, but the first half was such a slog. It was a real slog. But so the weird thing in WWE is last year they've got a storyline now about stealing shoes. Last year it was about stealing a bracelet. I can't wait to see what item of clothing is good. CM Punk's bracelet, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what is next year? You know, like I remember in the 90s, John Pierre Lafitte stole Bret Hart's jacket. So, yeah, there's precedent for this. So we'll see what they come up with now.
Well, I was going to say, this rule you mentioned with Jim Cornette, saying about the lack of wrestlers turning up and everything. One, I want to find this episode of Raw and find out what was going on.
I think it was. I don't know. It feels crazy if it was Raw, but maybe it was a house show or something.
I sound more like a house show thing, but yeah, but also I wonder if that is something they were parodying in the noughties. Do you remember that or in the tens, wherever? Do you remember that episode of Raw where the entire roster just turned on Triple H at the end of one show, and then the next show it was just him and Punk and Sheamus and Cena that were just going to like do the show themselves. So Cena and Sheamus were going to wrestle each other. Triple H was going to be the referee, and Punk was going to be on commentary.
I remember the show where they all did the like Christian led a walkout or whatever. I don't remember the week that followed it.
I don't remember that, but that was the result. The next week, the only people that were standing by him were Sheamus, Cena, and Punk of all people are standing with Triple H.
Company man CM Punk.
Yeah, absolutely. But there was like about 20 minutes later, just everyone just suddenly returned, and it was all fine after that. But I just wonder if that was a parody of that now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, crazy. Okay, so next on the show we had the Wyatts, the Wyatt Six, against Street Profits. Do you know what the thing is? Like, there was good stuff in the match. I'm just not invested in any of them. Is the problem? There was something just this tease where it's just like, just put his hands like, no, I'm starting the match. I was like, oh, the Street Profits are breaking up, and I felt like I felt like that. They'd had a tease.
No, they haven't. For like, they've been telling that story for about 10 minutes. It seems like, yeah.
I'm sure there was a tease of something at some point, but
going back a ways, they teased a split, but in recent weeks, the whole tag division has just been circling each other and
did one of them decide they were going to wear the stupid gear, and the other one was a bit pissed off about it, so that's what's caused the problem.
Well,
what was that they were wearing at the start?
So it was Borderlands, which is a great video game. Right, that's another conversation. But I think using it in that match it detracts from what they would like the Wyatts to be.
Yeah,
I don't see
stupid masks. You want the Wyatts to do it, not the.
But I think my bigger issue than having the Street Profits come out is that Michael Cole, especially in recent weeks, is crapping all over it. And fine, we're all kind of crapping on it too, but his tone of voice when he talks about the Wyatts as they come out, like, I'm not saying he should be selling like abject fear, but like he turned to Wade Barrett at one point and was like, oh, here comes the spooky witch, I get. Like, if Michael Cole, who is the voice of the WWE, whether we like it or not, it's as bad as him. Did he introduce one of the Hardy things as like, well, this is crap, but we'll show you, I guess.
Well, that was him being the voice of Vince at the time, I think.
Well, indeed, right? And you know, they've brought the Wyatts back, and the initial bringing back of them had a lot of sentiment, and I was an original sort of Bray Wyatt himself guy. I don't like what on earth they're doing with this, because it just feels naff, and they're treating it as such now. And so it's like, well, what do you want the crowd to make of them if your commentators are going, well, here they come, these weird guys? It's like, well, come on, man.
They never had a plan for this. Go on. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, they never had a plan for the Wyatts. They basically redid the little teasers in the background things to get some hype that they'd done with Bray's return. And then as soon as they were introduced and they murdered Chad Gable, it was like, well, Chad Gable was a heel at the time anyway. But as soon as they did that, it's like, oh, so Uncle Howdy, he's not coming in to be Bray Wyatt's spot, basically. Not saying that he should have got it, but it's like, if you're going to bring in something to fill Bray Wyatt's spot when he was like such a prominent character and a world champion and universal champion kind of thing, it's like, but then you just bring it in as such a low level thing. It's like, what is their mission? What is their mission statement? So, we did this to Chad Gable. It's like, and then they've been floating, and Uncle Howdy is basically just a manager. Like, it's a nothing, and this whole thing is just it's Dexter and Gacy, and that's it. And like Nikki Cross is doing nothing. It's like, why is she even part of this? Why isn't it Alexa Bliss in this?
She's as useless in this faction as she was. Do you remember that time period where she just stared? This is before she joined the Wyatts, and all she did was just stare. And she'd be in the background of segments just staring. Like, what's she doing?
Wasn't she almost a superhero once?
She was a superhero once.
Well, almost.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yeah, she was ASH, wasn't she?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That was the thing I liked about when they were doing the sort of when they did the reveal, and they did like the little teasers on social media with the reasons they were being brought out. There was a thing with Nikki, like they said about that. I think it was like, obviously Uncle Howdy's writings or what have you, saying, I've seen you staring out, you're looking for someone for guidance, you're looking for guidance, you're looking for friends and things like that. And they've done this whole thing of her, you know, she'd been, like you say, she'd gone through a point of being like the maniac insanity, and then going to finding a friend in Alexa and being a bit more regular, then going mad again, and being the superhero, then going crazy again, and then just looking, like I said, staring. So there was that whole thing of like, this is where you need to be with us, and having similar sort of things for the others, and sort of the reasons why they are together. But to repeat what you're saying, Ian, they don't have a mission statement now. It's like they don't have anything there.
The initial videos that you're talking about, they aired these vignettes that gave like real grounded human reasons for why they're doing this spooky stuff. They weren't pretending to be ghosts or witches or whatever. They were saying, we are grieving. They were using Bray's passing, not in what I believe is a gratuitous way. They were using that real grief and saying, this is how I'm channeling that grief into this persona. And now they're just spooky heels. Like,
it should
as well. They don't know what they are. It's like they want that the Paris crowd gave them a nice reaction when they came out, and they're singing the song as they always do in the French crowd. So they've noticed that from the first Clash in Paris, suddenly all the crowds are singing around the Orton's theme after that. But it's this thing of, this is what I'm not really clear on, is that are they faces, are they heels, or are they tweeners? They're not really clear on that either, because prior to SummerSlam they were sort of quite straight, not straight laced, but they weren't being as blatantly interfering as they are suddenly being now. It's like SummerSlam, everybody was involved in that ladder match. This one, there was blatant interference throughout the whole thing, and it was it's like, do you want, what do you want for these guys to be? That's all I want to know. Just want a little.
I would say that's a question I would ask for the whole SmackDown tag scene, and the Raw one too. Why not? You know, hey Dev.
Yeah.
Hello, Dev. We were just trying to work out what is the mission statement of the Wyatt Six. Now, it's so simple. There should have been Rowan. There should have been Strowman in there, and they should have had Uncle Howdy because he is his brother, and he was being only just introduced into that. But he could have been the de facto. Well, you've got 3 leaders right there, and then you bring in Alexa Bliss. And you've got like basically the whole stable, which you could have then added Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis to, and then you've got Wyatt 6. You don't need to have Nikki Cross in there. You've got 6 of them, and it could have just simply been their mission statement. Could have been Bray Wyatt had got a list. Bray Wyatt was on a mission. He was targeting these people, and we're gonna finish what he started. Done. They were the disciple. If you've seen the Saw movies, they were the disciples of Jigsaw, basically. Jigsaw died. Spoiler: Jigsaw died, and then other characters carry it on, and that's all they needed to do, and that would have actually really worked. And sorry to like lean in because like Bray Wyatt obviously really passed away, and that's tragic. But they could have continued with, you know how there's like the little doll in Saw. Imagine if they had some little Bray Wyatt fiend puppet thing that they still give him a presence in some way.
Well, his presence is the chair, isn't it? Or that was the initial idea.
Yeah, but
his presence was the chair in the
all
lantern.
it is now is an entrance.
Exactly.
Yeah, they could have done all the lantern. They could have always, like the Power of the Urn with Paul Bearer. They could just have the lantern, which is the Bray Wyatt version. That it's like it communicates something to them. And I know this is kind of the hokey stuff. But that's kind of, they've always did it with The Undertaker, and that's what they always did with the Fiend character. And so it's like, that's how you continue it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dev, did you see Clash in Paris?
Yes. It was good. But like the weird thing is, the biggest complaint I've seen online, especially from Americans, was the crowd was too loud.
So,
too loud?
Yeah.
Is it that they were singing though?
I think the
it was a football crowd
were broadly great. I have one thing about the French crowd in particular that I didn't like, and that was the chant they did every time there was a 2 count. Every time there was a near fall, they would say a simplement deux or something, which is only 2. And okay, that's their thing, but 2 counts are so huge in telling the story of a wrestling match. You need those moments where there's like 1, 2, oh my God, like he's kicked out. And it was this performative, we're singing because we're great. It wasn't we're singing because we're invested in the match in that instance. At least.
I agree. A couple of years ago, I went to like Royal Quest, whatever it was, 2 or 3, and like the New Japan show. And I was like, this is just a sing-along. It was too much of just a sing-along. And I was like, this is killing the matches for me. And so I think that's probably just the European football singing crowd is jarring. Because when you watch Raw Weekly or whatever, that's not what American audiences are like at all.
Except they've adopted the Daddy Cool tune for everybody whose name has 3 syllables.
I'll just say that this is actually quite funny because Dev will know what I'm talking about here because he's been to Progress shows as well. But when I used to go to Progress shows a lot, Progress Wrestling in Camden, back in the good old days when it was good. But it's there was a lot of like that thing of like chanting and doing songs to sort of like doing pun songs and things like that and getting certain chants over and things like that. And there's definitely a lot of that in, I think, a lot of different wrestling crowds as well, not just the French crowd, and not even just the English crowd for this. But the American crowd, there was a point where Progress was really popular in the States as well, and they would come over for the a couple of weekend like shows and things. And there's one tune that a lot of the chants do in football as well. It's "Go West" by the Village People, and so they'll do things like I'm trying to think of a wrestler that they would do it for, but so like let's say it's I don't know, Michael Oku or something like that for who's a British wrestler. So there they go, Oku, it's Michael Oku, Michael. It's something like that. But the American crowd wouldn't quite get the tune. And that was it. Zach Gibson, who's in Grizzled Young Veterans.
Where's your car stereo?
They all shout out saying, "Stand up if you hate Gibson. Stand up if you hate Gibson." No. But the American crowds will be going, "Stand up if you hate Gibson. Stand up." They couldn't quite get it. I'm actually quite impressed that they've got the Daddy Cool thing now. I'm quite impressed. Sorry, that was a long way to tell a story I could have told in much quicker time. Sorry.
Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. So yeah, let's talk about a couple of other matches from Clash, and then we'll move on to what else is going on. So Nikki Bella didn't live the dream. Intercontinental Championship from Becky Lynch. 13 minutes. It felt longer. Yeah. It definitely felt longer. Do you know what? Like, this is the thing when someone like Nikki Bella comes back, their thing was that they were twins, and she's been out of the game a while, and it's just like when some of like the pre-women's revolution, like, was she in the women's revolution or was she just pre? She was like divas.
They have painted this picture with Nikki Bella as her being this sort of paragon of the women's revolution,
for the other reason.
And you've got AJ Lee about to come back, who they can literally tell that truthful story of. Actually being this paragon, this instigator of what we now have as the I think for the large part the women's roster is stronger than the men's. Like, I think my favorite wrestlers at the moment are women, and the best matches I'm seeing at the moment are put on by the women.
Go on, Dev.
To that point, does anyone care about the male roster for NXT?
I barely can keep up with NXT. Right, either side of it.
Anything I hear is all the female, like, the best wrestling is currently in women's NXT, apparently. But like, nobody is talking about these males. NXT, no, because they would know this because of Eve.
Look at the what story? I didn't catch that.
Because of Eve and stuff.
Oh, Eve wrestling, yeah. It's
but yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. It's I think it's strong. It's probably strong in AEW as well. I would argue too. But what was? Sorry, I think you had a point, Ian. I don't know if you actually.
The NXT males aren't doing anything compared to the NXT female because they're so good. Everybody forgets the males exist in NXT.
I forget NXT exists. If I'm,
I can't pretend that I watch NXT.
I only started watching the highlights, but I did watch it fairly regularly. But I know it better than you guys. But no, Ian, I think did you have a point you were trying to?
Well, just that because David was talking about Nikki Bella and that was she anything to do with the women's revolution? You know,
I think she's kind of like she
was around. She's sort of the tail end of that Divas.
Yeah.
Story-wise, that it was her that and the rest and her and Brie that they were going against, wasn't it? Story-wise, in terms of that.
Yeah.
That's when they brought up Becky and Charlotte and Sasha.
Yeah, exactly.
You've just got to look at her. You've just got to listen to her entrance music to know that she is that last dying ember of the sex object diva age. You can look, but you can't touch. Like, it's, you know, it's about.
Right. Okay. So no, I was just thinking on. Right. Okay. No, I was just. I know we're being all like progressive and all that. I preferred that era, but I'm joking. Right now, what I was going to say that. It wasn't a great match. One of the things though is that they bring back these legends, like I've said about when they brought back Lita, when I brought back Trish. You know, they're doing the best, but their wrestling ability isn't up to the level of when you get the modern women's wrestlers on the roster. And in fairness to them, they get a lot more ring time, which was the complaint before the women's revolution. So they didn't have as much time and opportunity to hone their craft, so to speak. but also they've been out the game, and then they're suddenly brought back as these legends that are just like when we say, "Oh, Goldberg, this is going to be a disaster and stuff." You bring back someone that's like, well, they're going to have no timing. It's like when you look at Paige in AEW, it's like, gosh, that was rough. That was rough, and it came to an end. And she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to continue it." Which brings me to: is AJ Lee going to come back in and everyone be like, "Oh wow, this is amazing," or is it going to be like, her time has passed, sort of thing?
I think if it was against somebody better than Becky, then maybe. I think Becky's a kind of what's the word? Kind of peaks out a little bit. I don't in terms of in-ring as well, because she's been back and forth like for injuries and things like that. And obviously, I'm not saying I'm better than her. She's a much better wrestler than I could ever be. I'm not saying that. But in terms of I that match with Nikki, I also hold her slightly responsible for because she's supposed to be the one who's there to make it look good as well.
The big whiff that got gift of Nikki missing that disaster kick, that Becky wasn't in the right position just as much as Nikki wasn't executing it well.
Yeah.
Like I rate Becky Lynch pretty highly, to be honest. Like I think they'll
not saying she's bad.
Punk and AJ are a savvy couple, and I think you've got the example of Punk there being out for so many years before he came back to AEW, and came back when, I guess in his mind, the time was right, and trained himself to a level of being able to still bring his A game, I guess. So I have high hopes for AJ Lee, but until she gets in the ring, we just don't know. Sorry, Dave, I cut.
That's fine. It's fine. Basically, like the reason I think the AJ return will be better than, say, Nikki or Trish or Lita is because the others took time away from wrestling and didn't continue training and stuff. As far as I understand, between training in general, getting ready for WWE, Glow, helping with Glow, and being on heels, AJ's been active in wrestling training, so he doesn't have the ring rust everybody else would have.
I think she's still going to have ring rust. Whatever she's been training with Punk or whoever else she may be training with, that isn't like much, really, is it?
To use a football analogy, you can be fully fit without being match fit. There's a difference in intensity.
Yeah.
There's a difference in being in that crowd situation.
I don't think anyone here knows how much training Lita and Trish and whoever else did in that time as well. And also, I think I said it a few months ago on this show. I still think Trish's last sort of big run she had in that feud, ironically against Becky, was her best run. That's my opinion.
No,
yeah. Okay, so Rusev Sheamus in a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. I think it over delivered. Yeah, I was going to say over delivered. I was expecting this just to be, the joke I said at the time is this is the best match of 2008 or whatever it was. But it was fun. It was serviceable. So yeah, and Rusev got the win, which to be honest he needed.
Well, the card needed that fun plunder brawl, didn't it? As a bit of palate cleanser.
Yeah. Go on, Dev.
So I love that match only because the rest of the show felt like a glorified house show, and this match felt like a pay-per-view match with social media viral moments in the match. That'll get people talking in a good way compared to that missing kick. The barrel spot was amazing.
I love that getting up on top of those
tables.
Yeah,
was
amazing. A bit ridiculously contrived, but in a great way, in the best way. Go on then. And there's some tables down there.
Fun.
Yeah, they were going.
Yeah,
I wanted them. I was hoping that they'd actually do something different with the barrels rather than just a platform, though. I was like, obviously they don't bust out pile drivers that often in WWE. But imagine if they'd just done a tombstone or a pile driver into the barrel and just both disappear into it.
2 feet sticking out.
I wanted a Donkey Kong moment where he'd throw the barrel at some like Sheamus before the Rusev. So
Oh, do you know what would have been a cool thing to rig with that actually? So say like Sheamus threw Rusev like into the barrel and it was rigged, gimmicked just so he can burst out of it like Donkey Kong. You know, that would have been fun. That would have been fun. But yeah, like so Rusev, they need to do something with him. You know, they said that he'd had one loss or hadn't had a loss or something since he'd come back.
Yeah, I noticed that, and then I had to look at Cage Match. He's barely had even like double-digit matches since he's been back.
Yeah, I was going to say I barely feel like I've seen him. Like it felt like he came back, and it's been one of the most pointless.
It's weird because they gave him Aleister Black, Karrion Kross,
Black,
and Bray Wyatt, Wyatt 6. Similar storylines of like you've been bad. We're here to redeem you or help you or. Yeah. All four of them have the same similar storyline and going on at the same time.
None of them work.
Focus on.
And with Miro and Aleister Black, with Rusev and Aleister Black in particular, it smacks to me of just Triple H being like, "I want my toys back."
Yeah,
and it's like a kid. I don't want you to have that toy, so I want it, and then they don't really want to play with it either. So it's just, well, I've got them at least.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we can get like into this in a moment because actually one of the big news stories from this week is AEW have caved under a little bit of pressure and have moved All Out to start early and not to compete with WrestlePalooza.
Mm-hmm.
See, why do you say they've caved? That makes it sound like they're weak for doing that.
They are weak for doing that. That's why I say it that way. Right? Why do you think they're not weak for caving?
Well, why do you think it's all right for WWE to just come up with a whole new show suddenly? Just happens to be on that day at that time.
No, I don't think it's all right. This is counter programming, but AEW still were the ones that caved under the pressure. Like they were in a slot, they were there first. Something else came along, and they were like, "We're getting out of here," you know. And I think that's a mistake. AEW shouldn't have moved.
You know, what would be really funny if they moved WrestlePalooza. Just to be annoying.
No, like this is just gonna like imagine if you got tickets to this. It's like
there's people who are going to have hotel bookings and flights.
Yeah, I was going to say if you've got a hotel, like, and it's like, oh, I booked because say I booked a hotel to see a show in London, and I'm like, oh, I'll stay overnight, and then I'm like, oh, it'll be finished at 7. I'll be like, I'll go home then. You know, I didn't need the hotel booking, or say you've got your train book to get there. And it's like, shit, I'll arrive halfway through the second hour.
I don't know. If I got booked a hotel there and found, it's going to be finishing earlier there, I'll be like, I'll just stay and watch the other show at the bar and the.
Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I guess the wider issue though is like there might be people who have booked their travel for a certain time that now means they're not going to make the start of the show, so they're going to have to try and reorganize their travel or their hotel. I don't necessarily agree that it's a weak move. I think it's kind of maybe the only choice
it's a necessary move
and
to survive.
And I'm not one who first of all, no one here is being tribal. I hate tribalism. No one here is doing that. But I don't think that it's wrong of WWE to plan a show. It's petty as all hell, but it's not wrong. They're within their rights to do it. And you know, AEW are the second brand, and they have to either bear with that pressure, or in this case, they've made the difficult decision to move their time slot. You know,
I think AEW should have been like, they're bringing war, we're going to bring war back. They should have absolutely gone the you know, we're going to have not just we're the best wrestle, because that's, you know, what's this whole thing about, like, if you're the best, you shouldn't say you're the best. Someone else should say it, right? And to me, that was like one of the beginnings of that. They're really looking weak in the way that they're trying to justify that they're better. They should just be like, WWE are bringing war. Now we're going to have this on the show. We're going to have surprises you won't believe or whatever. But it really just looks like WWE have got them on the ropes kind of thing. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, but the thing with that, I find that WWE are very much now, whenever you watched any, whether it's a full-length documentary or any kind of episode of Rivals or whatever the show might be, where it was any kind of recollection of what the WCW rivalry was all about, and the whole thing with WWF was that there actually was WCW are trying to put us out of business. They're trying to steal food from our tables, and
Seth Rollins has said the same sort of
thing.
thing.
All this stuff, they're going to take away our jobs. They're trying to come in to kill us. That's what we need to do. We need to destroy them, which they did in the end. But now it seems that the shoe is very much on the other foot, and they are coming after AEW the way that they say WCW did as well. Yeah. And it's not just with TV shows as well. Someone pointed this out on X the other day that their YouTube channel, I can't remember if it's the main one or the Vault channel, but they're putting up certain matches recently, full-length matches. Two of them recently was, I think, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. Another one was Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm, which was basically them saying, hey, look, those two used to wrestle for us, and look at them being destroyed.
Interesting. Right. Look, see, the funny thing is WWE historically have always been the aggressors. Because,
well, you look at Vince's expansion.
Well, that's what I mean. So when Vince was saying in the 90s about they're trying to destroy our family business, it's like, wait, you killed like all of the territories by like swallowing up all of the stars and like saying that other shows can't run your buildings, which, you know, they did even with, they tried to stop Ring of Honor running Madison Square Garden. Do you remember like this kind of stuff? And WWE historically have always been the aggressors in that sense. I really want AEW to succeed. It's just they need to change their approach. There's so many things AEW, like we could probably do a whole episode just trying to fix the world of what each promotion needs to do. But the narrative from this is that they have backed away because obviously if WWE are running Brock versus Cena, and then like it's almost like the straw that broke the camel's back is the return of AJ Lee, right? And it's just like they're saying that for All Out, which historically until All In Texas, All In London suddenly was the biggest AEW show of the year de facto by it being in like stadiums. Like All Out and Double or Nothing were the biggest AEW shows of the year. And so for them to move one, I think is a mistake on AEW's part because it makes the narrative is they ran away from the competition rather than have that Monday Night Wars head to head. Because people afterwards, even if they say, oh, more people watch WWE, they could say, but whilst this match was on and someone had got both screens on, then this match on AEW was better and this and blah, blah, blah. And they'd have got hype out of that. But now it's that they've backed away from it.
I think if they had moved the entire date, then I'd probably be agreeing with you on that one. But the fact that they moved it up a couple of hours, it's not quite as, I don't think it's quite as big a what's the word? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with words tonight. I don't think it's quite as big a retreat.
Reaction.
I'm making it.
Retreat, reaction. Yeah. Sure. Okay, cool. Well, let's cover these last couple of matches, since these are the boring ones that we haven't spoken about yet. John Cena, Logan Paul. Longest match on the card, actually, 26 minutes and 20 seconds. I think this was better than the Cena Cody match, personally.
Wow.
I thought this was really good. And the crazy thing here is like Cena has said himself about like he's losing a step or he feels he's lost a step and he doesn't want to wrestle if he's lost a step. I'd say it wasn't even really a return because he'd pop up periodically. But this last year run, I'd say it was like, well, yeah, Cena isn't showing his best until that Cody match at SummerSlam. And then this, it's like you'd think, okay, well, Cena is still the one you think has to carry this match. Logan, I think they both absolutely held their own in this match, and I thought it was, I I thought it was the best Cena match of his last year to date.
I thought it was good. I didn't put it on the same level as Cena Cody, which I thought was the best Cena match I've ever seen.
Best Cena match you've ever seen?
Yeah, but I'm not a Cena guy, so
okay.
What I enjoyed is, and what I am enjoying, is how relieved I can translate through the screen that John Cena is that he's playing the hits again, which is probably what he just wants to do for the last few months of his career. Logan Paul is fine. Like he's very good at doing what he does. I don't necessarily always feel that the connective.
He needs to stop doing the buckshot. He needs to stop doing the buckshot.
Oh, absolutely.
He's missing more now.
He's got the high spots and he's got the viral moments, but the stuff in between that threads the story together, I feel is still missing. But he's a star, like he is, and I don't like him, but he's a star.
Anyone else's thoughts?
I only saw bits and pieces of this match. It was fun. What I saw, it seemed like it was just a live version of someone streaming a 2K25 or something. It was just like different.
That's a good analogy.
That's a moves.
It is a really good analogy.
Stealing other moves as well, you know. And
but that was some of the
Angels' wings and things like that. And
I thought that was some of the cool things from Cena. Cena is someone. I've said this a bunch of times. Triple H leading up to a WrestleMania match is to blame for the whole Cena "you can't wrestle" thing, because no one said that before Triple H, as a heel, put it into the audience's minds that Cena wasn't up to scratch in the ring and the whole Super Cena thing. And over the years, you've seen where Cena tries to suddenly add in some other moves. Where do you remember? Who was he against? Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
And he tried the Code Red, and he pulled it off, and the crowd were like, yeah, but you could see how pissed off he was. And then he's done it versus Cody, and he did it versus Logan, and you can see how thrilled he is to pull this move off. A few years ago, he started introducing that he'd do like the leg drop off the top rope or blockbusters or whatever he did. But then in this, where he's suddenly pulling out Styles Clash and Baron Corbin's move and whoever else he was yeah, okay, and he did it, and it was good, and it's just like, okay, Cena has got some surprises in here. The crowd obviously were super into it, and the atmosphere obviously does help any match. But I thought this match over-delivered for what you could expect, because I think I've always said that Logan Paul. I don't even know who Logan Paul is, other than like the celebrity boxer guy.
He went to Japan once.
I know that. I know that controversy. Very right. If you don't know, I'll tell you later. Right. Okay. So it was just like, wow. He pulls off every move that they give him the opportunity to do. He's carried through every match spectacularly. But suddenly in this match, it's like, well, he's the guy now that's got the more energy if Cena's winding down. And it's like, you'd think, oh, Cena has to carry him. But they absolutely both carried this match through over. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Paul brothers for you.
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, as well. Right. But there was a thing where he said that he wanted to go to Japan on their next tour, right?
Well, was it Dominic Mysterio that was like,
can you go to Japan?
Like, will they let you in?
Yeah. Well, anyway. Joe, the weird thing after that is he was friends with The Rock and doing stuff with The Rock, and The Rock refused to work with him after that. Yeah. So there you go. That brings us go on, Dev, before we get to the main
like throughout the all this finished spam and the stealing the moves and stuff, I was waiting for Cena's 6-month move of doom to come back. His secret move.
The lightning fist.
Yeah, the lightning fist.
I'm kind of glad he retired that one.
What is the lightning fist?
He did. Did he
He
do it
only-
once or twice?
Yeah, in China.
Wasn't
In
it from
China.
something like what was it? Not Pokemon, but something like that, where it was like this sort of thing that
From an anime where he did this whole like he
So
tried to put
bad.
fists and like punch one in the face.
But apparently, allegedly, it's a lightning fist, so he actually hits you like 20 million times or something.
Yeah.
He did it.
Ugh,
He only
that
did it once on television. He did it on house shows, but he did it once, and it was on a Saudi show, tag
Yeah.
match. I can't remember
That's
who
I
it was.
was.
against.
Yeah, the Saudi
Yeah.
one is.
I think he teamed with Lashley,
Hmm.
and he did it to either Owens or Elijah or something like that. I think.
Mm.
And he did it to
John
Those
Cena
heady,
Lightning
heady
fist.
days of those early Saudi shows.
Yeah, and literally the payday where Cena didn't do anything the whole match until that last tag, and he just did his go-home sequence and did that, and then that was it. That was it. The match. It was like
Greatest of
yeah.
all time.
you worked really hard for that several $1 million there, John.
Yeah.
See, I've got a funny story about the early days of the Saudi shows. Whenever they would have the Royal Rumbles, I'd always bet, like, because for the Royal Rumbles, you could bet on Sky Bet for some reason.
Right.
So I would always bet for Mansoor to win every Rumble, and he would.
But he didn't win
So
the
it was a
Rumble,
Saudi
did
show.
he? He didn't win the Greatest Rumble.
No, but he won all the Battle Royale.
He won a battle royal. I
He
think.
won a
didn't he?
battle royale and won a match.
Who
No,
won?
he won
Who?
several.
Mansoor.
Oh, he definitely won a battle royal, but he might have also
Yeah,
won a
he
match or
won
something.
the Royal Rumble.
And they would just wheel him out for every Saudi show. Be like,
Yeah.
there's a guy that you're now not going to see for the other.
Although,
Like,
because of those shows, I found out that Mojo Rawley, if you remember him,
Mhm.
Yeah.
is also Arabic.
Yes.
Mm.
I had no idea. I thought he was American.
You know?
Oh, I've just watched this lightning fist from John Cena. I'd completely forgot the existence of this.
Your face was very
This
much.
is goddamn.
Your face was the same as Dave's when he was looking up Logan Paul. Like,
Well,
what?
yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think this was worse. You know, Logan Paul. Yeah, they stumbled across something. Cena did this intentionally. Right. So, so let's get to the main event. Seth,
Moving swiftly on.
yeah, Seth, Punk, Uso, and LA Knight. Yeah.
Yes.
So LA Knight, it's never going to happen.
No.
I don't see a scenario in which he ever wins the world title. That's my biggest takeaway from this. Go on, Dev.
He's going to win it at the Rumble and lose it to the Rumble winner.
No, he's not.
He'll win the title at the throwaway Rumble title match and lose it to the winner of the Rumble itself.
He's never winning the world title.
Like,
Why would he win the world title now? Because it's you've had this sort of like run for a bit, and he's always going to be up in that upper mid card. So
Yeah.
I don't see it. Intercontinental title maybe, but
I can see him getting world title matches and just being pushed to that level. But yeah, I don't think he should win the world title. I don't see it.
will
Yeah,
Jey
same way
Uso
with
get another
Uso.
world title?
I don't think he should either.
I don't think Jey Uso
I
ever
think
should.
I think this Uso reunion is like the perfect thing. Like put them back together.
Yeah.
The tag team division needs
another team.
experience and needs stars, and they are a star team, you know, and another just warm bodies. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Seth won. Becky did, I think. Like, I enjoyed the match. Like the ending, well, you know, to me it was a disappointment, but
It was in our chat group that called the idea that after Braun and Bronson got banned from the building and Heyman wasn't going to be back because he was in hospital, that someone else would be joining.
I think Assad did. Probably.
I thought there would be a new member. I don't know why, but I genuinely didn't see the Becky Lynch thing coming. So I was like pleasantly, like it's nicely worked. Like
I thought it'd be Austin Theory, but I don't know where he is.
Ugh. Austin Theory, like he is a failed experiment if there ever was one.
Injured at the minute, isn't he?
injured, I think, and written.
Well, I
off
don't mean it, but
on
good.
screen.
Right. I'm not glad he's injured, but as long as he's off TV. No, he'll be a great Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champion one day. But that brings us. Well, anything else particularly on that match?
I didn't see the match, no, particularly on that one. What I was going to say about the tag teams again. I was thinking, obviously, we were talking earlier about the circular sort of like tag wars that are on SmackDown at the minute, and everything. And but on Raw, there doesn't seem to be anybody apart from New Day, War Raiders, and Judgment Day. And I because I sort of like only watched like the Raw highlights. I went on YouTube on Tuesday mornings, looked through, and I saw New Day hold a funeral for the tag titles.
They've been mourning for a long time. Yeah.
Well, because I thought, okay, I've seen the morning stuff and little bits of them doing that. I thought, okay, well, this might be a fun 3 minutes. Put it on the video. 12 minutes. How do they do this?
It's the Triple H era. More is always more, right?
What went out on the show? Was it a 12-minute segment?
I this segment, in all honesty, and I usually watch it on Netflix, so I don't know if it just didn't make my edit or whatever, but yeah.
Dev?
Speaking of like tag teams and stuff, like I don't think any tag team match can match the clusterfuck we had in Money in the Bank or whenever it was, the TLC match. With like 18 people in it.
Mm.
Well, the SummerSlam.
And like,
just like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's SummerSlam.
Yeah, Ritual harped on about that a little earlier because we were just talking about the Wire Six being sort of like heels where everyone gets involved and things.
Because there's like 20 people in that match and like only 14 were wrestling.
Yeah, four legal competitors. Yeah, it's such a shame that because tag team wrestling can be so good. It can be a draw. But they don't seem to. Again, I think they get some new blood on the Raw side of things anyway. Because as I said, I think I can't think of anything outside the 3 teams I mentioned. So get Fraxium on there or something.
Fraxium like that. I couldn't believe when they debuted Fraxium on SmackDown. I was like, what are you doing? There's so many already. Like, just stick them on Raw.
Get them on there. Get the machine guns on there. Get them away from DIY and all that sort of stuff.
Is Miz and was it Miz and Trick or whatever?
Mellow, isn't it?
Mellow.
Sorry, we're all talking at the same time now. Sorry. Was it that Miz and Mello were like on a winning streak, and then suddenly the Street Profits just beat them, and they get the title shot? It was like, again, this is what I'm talking about. Just consistency in the booking. They were telling a story there of Miz stealing the wins each time, but still getting the wins.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think like
into Paris.
He's so Triple H is so long-term storytelling, isn't he? Sometimes to a bloody fault with his big stories that he will stretch out for months and months and months and months and months. And with the tag teams, it's like it's 4:55 on a Friday, and they're like, oh, I don't know, they can face each other again. I don't really care. I've got to go. You know, it's an afterthought.
Yeah,
and it comes across as such.
It's a remnant from Vince's hatred of tag teams.
Well, this is what I was about to say. Tag teams in WWE, if you say about like Usos, one of the greatest tag teams, and people will say like, the New Day, the greatest tag team. I'm like, really? Like, what these teams have got is just longevity. It's like by the time the Usos were in the main event of a WrestleMania tag team title match, main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania, the only reason they were there was because of Sami Zayn, and we all know that, right? But still, tag teams on display. Usos a long-standing tag team, and then inevitably they split them up so they can come back together again. But most and they're brothers. And New Day is because it worked, and it was a 3-man act rather than a tag team. Like they had a lot of tag team titles, but it's because there was a lot of charisma there, and there was good wrestlers there, and so they kept them together, and they wanted to stay together. But I think a huge problem you've got is I think most wrestlers don't really want to be a tag team nowadays. Most wrestlers want to try to be a single star somewhere.
They've probably seen how the tag teams get treated and go,
that's true. But you got to think like in the early days, or like I say, the early days, 70s, 80s, or even like the 90s. What work did the Dudleys put into developing right? So what are we going to do to seem like this unstoppable force? Or what, the Legion of Doom, they must look right. So if this is my face paint, this is yours, we're going to wear this. Either one of us looks like we could be a world champion, but together we're just like the most dominant team. And that's where we focus. There was never a question that one of them was suddenly going to be a single star. It's because they were a team. and no one nowadays is a team. You know, you've got DIY, and it feels like, yeah, do it yourself. Put two random people together. You know, oh, you were both going for the NXT championship, but now we don't know what to do with you. And we'll just
those two are fighting for ages.
Yeah, but still, but then they moved on to single stars, and now where's their career progressed to? It's just like, oh yeah, they were a tag team, and now they're a tag team.
Back on NXT, I think this week, weren't they? With their old gimmick?
But then like
DIY, isn't it? A decade of DIY. I think.
But then like 3 years ago, you'd got like the day before WrestleMania, Ciampa is like crying there with Triple H because he's the NXT champion, and they go up to the main roster and they're like, yeah, tag team. And it's just like they don't really have plans for it. And they brought in the Motor City Machine Guns, and didn't they make them tag team champions week 1 or 2?
So like 3 weeks or something. Yeah.
And was there the assumption that everyone knows them from TNA? Because you know, it's like, oh wow, it's just like there's the good faith that everyone knows that they were good 15 years ago in their heyday.
So apparently the Motor City Machine Guns getting the title shot as soon as they debuted was a in-joke by WWE, because back in the day there was an in-joke of WWE guys would go to TNA and win the title on their debut.
Really?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I picked that up. It sounds
like Christian and like everyone that went to TNA would win the title in their first pay-per-view.
I mean,
yeah, I just don't believe the in-joke, but the thing. But I did notice one thing though. I've always noticed this since they debuted. Not once have they been announced as Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. They've always just been Motor City Machine Guns. You know, and their intros. They're never. Everyone else gets mentioned what their name is. You know, coming down the ring, DIY. Coming down the ring, Angela Dawkins, Montana Ford, Street Profits. On the way to the ring, Motor City Machine Guns. That's just it. They have no names.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Okay, so how far away are we from WrestlePalooza and that? We've still got.
We're a few weeks out, 2 or 3 weeks. I think.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So WrestlePalooza and All Out. So
the 20th, is it, or something?
Okay, so we still have a little bit of time, because I was going to say, like, well, let's take a look at where what we do know as announced for this. So literally, okay, so they've announced Cena versus TBA, just because we know obviously Cena has however many matches, and
9, I think.
9.
Sorry,
does he actually have 9 matches or 9 appearances?
9 appearances.
9 appearances. Any predictions at this stage of who Cena's final match will be?
Final match.
His final match. So if he's going against Brock here, he went against Orton first. He could have a world title match, being like, can I make it to 18 on the night I retire? I think there is some reason to do that.
You could argue there's a rubber match element, couldn't you, with Cena?
Yeah,
I don't necessarily.
Have they done
Roman versus Cena? No, they've not.
No.
How would they get
that? I'd like to see Gunther, but I don't think that will happen. Roman's offered his filming.
God, as much as I like Gunther, I don't want him to have retired Goldberg and John Cena in the same year.
I'd love it.
I think that'd be really good.
Yeah.
Well, and that's his new gimmick. He just retires people.
Actual legend killer. Like,
why not?
And then there's a feud there with Orton who can go, well, not me, and then he can retire well when Orton's ready. You know.
What? And then just like throughout 2026, he's just always hanging around Randy Orton, and Orton's like, "I'm not retiring. Leave me alone."
Soon.
You know. Yeah, it's just like what other legends could like come back and just like Gunther's always in the background. It's like, so you want a retirement match?
Why does it say on the WrestlePalooza thing Cena versus TBA? Surely
it's Lesnar, isn't it?
Well, have they not actually? Have they actually announced it?
No, but they will, because before he got knocked out by Logan Paul in that like botched punch on SmackDown, Aldis said, "I've heard from Brock," didn't he? And that's the last we heard. Storyline wise that Lesnar was about, so I'm sure it'll be Well, this SmackDown this week seems to be a pretty loaded show, so it wouldn't surprise
Yeah.
me what the Brock announcement.
There may be AJ, there may be Brock, there may be.
Yeah, I think at this point, if there isn't an AJ Lee appearance, then there will be vocal disappointment because they've teased it so heavily. Well, they spoiled it, didn't they? The
WWE shop accidentally spoiled it.
Yeah. Although David had a theory that it wasn't so accidental, right? Oh.
What do you think of the name WrestlePalooza? They've brought back an ECW show, which I'm guessing 2000, like probably not even 2001. ECW folded, like, was it January or February, maybe in 2001? So I'm not sure if they had a guilty as charged, but like, yeah, they brought back a name that hasn't been used for 25 years.
It feels a bit Great Balls of Fire to me.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't love it.
Like, couldn't they? And when is it? So it's this month. Are they bringing back? I saw this rumor the other day, but I didn't click on it. Are they bringing back Halloween Havoc, but as a main roster pay-per-view?
I think it's an NXT pay-per-view, isn't it?
It has.
It has been an NXT pay-per-view.
Well, with the because the Wyatts have an attraction right now, right? Is there a Firefly Funhouse?
Yeah.
Amusement thing. I'm now internally cringing at what they will do to promote that.
Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
This is Uncle Howdy's chance for a world title shot. You know, finally a pay-per-view where it makes sense.
Bo Dallas main eventing. In the year 2025.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So guys, anything else on your mind? Has there been any other big storylines or headlines from this week?
Matt Riddle being a piece of crap.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so someone fill me in on this because I've vaguely seen about it.
So he no-showed a show. I think it was here in the UK. He was supposed to be fighting Simon Miller at a show for charity, and he no-showed, stopped answering messages, kept the deposit money, as far as I know, and then in just the last 24 hours or so has gone mental. Basically, he's released a statement. Basically going, well, you're all losers anyway, and I've got a big dick, so you know.
I didn't see that one. I did see the company themselves have said that he has now returned the deposit money.
Oh, he has. Okay, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware.
So basically,
and his initial whatever they would cost for him for travel as well, expenses that they paid for him to do that. He's promised he's going to refund that as well. So he's going to
that's
potentially, which is
something.
Good.
Yeah,
but like I said, I haven't seen this video that he's said on there saying
it's like expletive ridden. I couldn't repeat it on here. It's pretty hideous. Sorry, Dan.
See, the first part, it makes sense. He explains it well. Like the first part was like, oh, they booked me to be in England, but they had me sitting in a hotel room for 2 days, not being allowed to take any bookings, and it frustrated me. But then he freaks out about his dick and shit. So
yeah, they did say in the statement as well that was a load of crap. They did try and find places for him to go to work, but they also said that one, they can't force promotions to take him and things like that. Which basically means a lot of promotions didn't want to touch everyone anywhere near him. And he also apparently said that the flight he was taking weren't going to serve him meals or something like that. What's a load of crap? It was a transatlantic flight. Of course they were going to serve food.
He described it as the worst flight in human history or something like that. It's like
he didn't go on it.
Twat. Like
it's crazy that he Jesus Christ. Don't search Matt Riddle on the internet, guys. Some weird photos just came up.
You're on OnlyFans, aren't you?
No, this is just on my Twitter feed, but yeah, I guess people are sharing on.
That's fact checking what he said.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, like he could have been a someone, and it like what he was doing a few years ago with Randy Orton could have led to something. He spoke out ill about Goldberg and didn't win him any favors. He then tried to force a match with Lesnar, didn't win. And like Lesnar was just like, you're nothing. It's never going to happen, sort of thing. And now he's, from the sound of it, people don't want to work with him at all. So shame. He could have had potential, but
he was recently calling out Kevin Owens and Sammy, wasn't he? Like saying like they were horrible to work with, and it's like of all the people, you've picked two that are widely considered, I guess we don't actually know, but widely reported to be just awesome people. That tells me all I need to know about Matt Riddle.
I believe him, Becky, and Sammy, Becky, and Kevin used to travel together. So, and Becky was always saying how
with Matt
Riddle. Indies and stuff. No. Sammy, Becky, and Kevin used to travel together, the three of them. And Becky kept saying how they were the nicest people to hang out with.
What was the best, the sort of like the cream, the cherry on top of the cake for this a bit though, is that the company GWK, I don't know what that stands for, but that's what the company called. Their replacement for Matt Riddle in the main event against Simon Miller, Grado,
love it.
Roll your eyes, David Bastansky. He's brilliant.
I don't like Grado. Well, I've got nothing particularly against him, but I remember a year or two ago when they rolled him out, no pun intended, at like All In or something like this, right? And I was just like, like British wrestling. He's been around the British wrestling scene for a long time, and you always, there is the kudos to some longevity, but I was never sold on Grado. But okay, so here's an interesting headline here. Just looking to see if anything interesting pops up. Apparently, Bruce Pritchard warns social media's toxic noise threatens wrestling's future. And he says here, I think that social media is a dangerous place to go because you don't really know what you're listening to. It is such a small percentage of the audience. It's loud, passionate percentage, without doubt. I just don't know sometimes if that audience is saying it to be controversial or just to go against the grain or what. Yeah, do you know what? Like, he's right there. Because like I said this a week ago, I hate everyone equally just because sometimes it's fun to. But I think that is the problem. Like, a lot of wrestling companies, I think they're learning, and this is perhaps a sign of the learning, that there's been a lot of things where people jump on the bandwagon. And I think the biggest example of the biggest examples that come to my mind is when Fandango's song, like, people like to do this, and they were like, we need to promote the hell out of this. It's like, no, it was a viral moment. This doesn't need to define everything about this character for forever from now. But WWE lent into it. And then I guess the other one was Luigi Primo spun a pizza in a wrestling match, and literally the next week he was on Dynamite. And it's like, you're putting this on TV, but there you go.
Mr. Iguana, like copy paste.
Do you know Mr. Iguana though? I looked him up. He's been around for a long time, and I think he's an example. A long time, yeah. And I think he's an example of something which I think Mr. Iguana's problem was. The report was, as soon as he was on SmackDown, he's like, I've made it. I'm big now, and it's like, okay, be humble, like, feel your way in there a little bit before you start shouting off about how you're the biggest thing now.
I don't want to say it's indicative of every like Mexican wrestler, but there's a lot of Mexican wrestlers that really do that allegedly have retaken the fame. Wasn't Hoovy like really bad in WWE as well, where he sort of
the juice?
Yeah, he kept expecting to be able to bring his girlfriend backstage or something like that, but he didn't realize he had to get a pass and all that sort of stuff, and was just being a real ego. Well,
okay, so the two things that come to my mind about Juventud is that when there was some story, someone else might remember the details of it, where backstage Vince McMahon like sort of named him sort of out like, and Juventud here, and like he stood up with such pride, and like then he really believed that he was like the big deal there. But also, do you remember right at the beginning of AEW, they brought Juventud out to wrestle Jericho, and then there was like the interviews with him. Yeah, where it's like MJF or someone.
It was one of his labors, wasn't it? The labor.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to bring back people from your past. And it's like Juventud was there in the main event. And he was like, I'm going to win a world title. It's like, no, you're not. It's like, this is the last time we're ever going to see you on television.
You're there to put Jericho over. That's all you're there for.
Yeah. Okay, go on, Dev.
Okay, so Juventud is a glorious example because he ended up in WWE, he basically saw himself as The Rock and even renamed himself The Juice.
WCW did that, to be fair. I think Vince Russo called him The Juice, and he was like, finally, The Juice has come back. And he was just like doing a knockoff Rock gimmick. Yeah.
No, but like up until recently, like he's still leaning into The Juice. Like he's still, I was in WCW, I was in WWE. I was a huge guy.
So
yeah, to be fair, like in late WCW, I did enjoy Juventud Guerrera. Like I thought he was a good wrestler, but and the thing about him that I think like Conan or Mysterio said is that, you know, he could have been as big as Rey Mysterio, but he was just, his personality got in his way basically. And I don't know if he had like substance issues and that. I think I'm right saying that, but I might be wrong, so I don't want to label that if it's wrong. But go on, Dev.
Speaking of late WCW, the one shining point apparently was a credit to Canyon, because Canyon had brought in a bunch of young wrestlers who became ridiculously good, like Air Styles and Billy Kidman and stuff. The tail end of WCW when the cruiserweight division was the focus.
Yeah,
apparently it was all because of Canyon.
Well, no, like Bischoff made the cruiserweights a focus, and he basically, when he was his idea was, we need to make things, if we can't make things better than WWE, what can we do differently? And so he looked to Lucha Libre. It's like, well, we can bring this in. This is a very different style, and we'll open shows with these really exciting matches. Then he looked to Japanese wrestling, where they'd had companies invade others, and that's what led to NWO. And he was like, oh, we've got to do things different. And also, when NWO was starting, he's like, we need to be more edgy. And then they were told to squash it, and WWE were like, oh yeah, we're going to do this edgy thing, and Attitude, and the rest is history, basically.
So,
you know,
what were you saying about Canyon? Did he bring in like
Shannon Moore was saying how Canyon brought in a lot of young wrestlers who became huge.
So people like
him, AJ, John Dragons, and like
okay, so those students of Canyon. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, it was very influential was Canyon. Have you seen it was one of my favorite things on WWE Vault's channel was that they did they put together a video of all 3 times that Canyon was Mortis in WWE dark matches.
Wow.
That's worth a watch. They're all really good matches. His first opponent is Austin Aries. And
wow.
When you see him come out, it's hilarious because it's young. It's really like young, slightly chubby Austin Aries. It's not like the Austin Aries you remember. It's like, you know, like, even before he was Ring of Honor champion, Austin Aries. So it's like, it's quite bizarre. But they're all there. Every match finish is different as well. It's like, oh, what they could have done with Mortis as a character. It's like, but for some reason, just Canyon again, he rubbed people up the wrong way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, there's rumors about like the personal.
Yes.
Obviously, so Canyon was gay, and that's why, if you remember, they introduced him coming out of a closet dressed as Boy George or whatever, and then the Undertaker beat him up. So, you know, real shame. Like, because in WCW, he was really good friends with Dallas Page, and he was kind of like Dallas Page's like lackey and stuff like that.
Nash. Yeah. Basically, it was his Nash. If Dallas was Shawn Michaels, Canyon would be Kevin Nash.
Oh, I see what you mean, right? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, "What's a Nash?" I was like, "What kind of what does that mean on the street?" Right? Okay, go on, Dave.
One more thing about Canyon actually just came up because I saw this video about a couple of months ago. You know, you're on Facebook and things like that, you sort of see related videos suddenly pop up. You watch one video, the next one slides up suddenly. You're like, oh, what the fuck's this? And it was a clip of John Cena on the Howard Stern show, circa sort of 2004-05, when he was sort of like the champion and was a bit of a bigger deal at the time. And this was the week that Canyon had showed up at some house shows, like with signs saying, "Why did you fire me?" or all that sort of stuff, and was making these accusations about it that they fired him because he was gay. And Howard Stern asked him about this and all that sort of stuff. And Cena said, and I quote vaguely verbatim here, but I'm going to say basically say, yeah. So Chris Kanyon, he was a wrestler, came in from WCW. He came in and was out for a little while, injured, and then he came back again. And yeah, he did get fired, but the fact was he just wasn't any good. That's literally what he said to Howard Stern. He wasn't any good. And he needed to sort of like that. He was basically towing the company line and trying to like paint Canyon out to be this crap wrestler who didn't do anything. He wasn't good enough to be in the Fed and all that sort of stuff. And it made me really hate him for that little bit. I thought, you absolute dick! How that's such a terrible just way of trying to bury somebody because they're hurt about the reasons they may have been fired and
people in glass houses and all that.
Well, yeah, this is what's always like silly to me. So Matt Riddle saying about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, it's like, well, you're obviously never hoping to get a job back in WWE because like even Punk had to like eat some humble pie and be like, oh, me and the Miz patched things up. It's like you know, you shouldn't think that you're in a position where you can, because you don't know what's going to happen later, where it's like, oh, okay, you might need to work with these guys. So that's unfortunate. One thing I want to pick up on, we can begin to wrap things up in a second, but like one of the things like this Vault channel where you get like there'll just be a random like, oh yeah, the Legion of Doom returned and wrestled the Dudley Boys, and like matches that you don't quite remember that happened, or gimmicks like, okay, so Mortis was in WWE, or I'm trying to think of like some other gimmicks that were just popped up and then not really used. Like I know we did get a short run of the BWO after the whole JBL beat up the Blue Meanie thing. But can you guys remember any other examples of gimmicks that appeared where you didn't... Go on.
Literally, as you described, a gimmick that just appeared on SmackDown and disappeared again was that British guy that was going to
Hayde Vanson.
Yes, Hayde Vanson. Yes.
Oh no, but I mean like, so like Mortis was a previous like gimmick, and it's like because like Mark Merrow was in WWE for years, but imagine if we suddenly just found out, oh yeah, he wrestled as Johnny B. Bad once. It'd be like, oh, why didn't they do that more?
He was Johnny B. Bad in TNA.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was in Johnny B. Bad in TNA. He was in a couple of in their sort of early monthly pay-per-views, and he was in a few multi-mans. He was teaming with people like Simon Diamond or something like that. And he was being Johnny B. Bad, despite the fact they had short hair and no moustache. He didn't look anything like Little Richard, which went against the gimmick entirely. But yeah, he was Johnny B. Bad in TNA for a little bit.
Wow. I wonder how he could do that, and yet he couldn't, because I remember it was a thing. He couldn't use the name Johnny B. Bad in WWE.
Well, he could in this one in TNA. I guess he must have bought rights or something. But he came out, he had the bar blaster and everything. He had the full gimmick except for his hair and facial hair.
Oh wow! Okay, actually, I've just
crowd loved
it. Johnny B. Bad TNA 2004.
Yeah, something like
that. Okay, is this him? Oh my god, this is him.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up for a second, but again, like, do you know what? I've had such trouble with like YouTube with
we haven't had very many
showing a split second stuff. Look at that. Well, I'm going to check this match out later. Okay, guys, anything else in particular on your mind, or we will wrap things here?
Riho came back to AEW.
Good for her. So, with that, no, right?
she's been gone a while, I think. Riho. I remember watching Riho in the early days of AEW.
She does this though. She sort of like goes off for a layoff of a number of months and then comes back and then and then goes again.
Visa issues and stuff. Is that Hikaru? Yeah, has been having some visa.
Yeah,
maybe she had visa issues. And it's just when she comes in, yeah, like I'm just here to visit my friend Kenny, right? And then she wrestles a match. She's like, "Oh, I'm being deported again. They saw me on television." But this is something which I've always said is like a consistency issue on the AEW side. On one side of things, it's great that from the beginning, like the beginning of AEW, they said like, you know, wrestlers will get a chance to be at home more, they'll get a chance to heal up more and stuff like this. But wrestlers would just disappear for a long time, and they'd be like, oh yeah, and you'd like forget that certain people even exist. And Riho, it's just like, is it a big deal that she's come back? Because Mercedes is going to destroy her. Right, go on, Dev.
Speaking of wrestlers being able to heal up in the AEW, do you remember Kenny Omega's team in All Out, All In? They were all injured.
What
during the cage match for the cage match scene with the Death Raiders? Everyone on the team was injured because you had Kenny Omega who was injured, Ibushi who was injured, Tanahashi with like rubber bands for knees, and Darby Allin was the only one that was healthy.
We touched on that, I think, a little, David and I, in the last Slam Jam, didn't we? Of how it was something of an injury crisis, but maybe having that massive cage match meant there was enough people there to limit them all to maybe one big bump. You know?
It's also good that Rio's come back, I guess, because she's probably replacing some of the women that got injured in the Casino Gauntlet All In. Apparently, 25% of that match got injured.
Yeah.
Wow. I've
just seen a thing on here saying that John Cena, talk about Cena again, sorry, but this SmackDown is happening in Chicago tomorrow night. Apparently, they're advertising against John Cena's final SmackDown.
Oh, really?
Final SmackDown. I knew they were advertising his final appearance in Chicago, but
in Chicago. SmackDown. Well, that's the graphic. The headline says
I did think
SmackDown appearance.
So, wow! I did think
this as well. It says it may be his last on the brand on SmackDown.
Well, they released the graphic, and I remember thinking that's a little bit ambiguous looking because I understood they were saying it's his last time in Chicago.
Yeah, the graphic
did look like it was saying final SmackDown in Chicago. So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. The headline reads final SmackDown appearance, but the graphic says in Chicago. So they may have read that from that. Yeah,
I thought.
Well, on that note, guys. No, go on, Ian.
I was only just going to say. I know we talked about the storyline of Clash, but I thought Becky and Punk were incredible in their promo segment. Like, bring on more men and women, like intergender promos, if not intergender matches. Like, I think they had real. Like,
has Becky been
chemistry? Sorry, Dev.
Has Becky been in every like 90% of the intergender promos? Because Becky's had a promo with The Rock, with Stone Cold, with like every single intergender promo I remember has been Becky with someone else.
They're bound to have done a few with Rhea here and there. They've probably done a few with Charlotte. You know,
but Becky did that spot where she took the end of days from Baron Corbin.
That's right.
Yeah.
As well. Whereas,
but no, that was
did her finisher on Akira Tozawa.
That was good. Sorry.
Go on in.
I was just going to say, I think there'll be a spot with, now that Seth and Becky are heels, I think there's going to be a huge heat moment of Seth trying to stomp AJ. I don't think
I think that's good.
The heat for him even thinking about it will be off the chart, and the reaction from Punk as well. I think I'm really excited about that story.
Okay, so a big thing that they were showing there was that like Punk was just like, whatever you hit me with, I'm just gonna like eat it, but I can't hit you back, sort of thing. And that's obviously, but I've got someone that will hit you back.
Right, exactly.
You know? But then there's been criticism of it, saying like, you know, but I don't think Becky was trying to knock him out with these punches.
No,
I think it was
she was being a dickhead and being an incredible dickhead.
I loved just the head and the hair and the face.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, with like brothers or sisters.
Who out there is watching that thinking she's actually trying to knock him out?
Well, exactly. That was exactly. This is where Twitch was like, can't believe he didn't sell for her at all. I was like, I don't think that was the point of the segment. It's just, exactly. Right, guys, we're going to have to wrap things here because I need to swap over to Extreme Improv. But let's find out where we can find everyone. And Dev, where can the people find you?
People can find me on TikTok and Twitch under my name, FTPDAT.
Okay, Ian.
You can find me right here next time.
Awesome, Dave.
Dan Greeno on Twitter and David Jervis Free and everywhere else. And also follow LAPD Improv, my improv troupe, please.
LAPD. Yeah. There you go. Right. So with
yes,
that, yes, and okay, there is something we're workshopping it. Right.
Okay. Gonna go into the Slam Jam live show whenever that happens.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. Now, with that, my name is David Pstansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pstansky. You can also go to Slam Jam on all of the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, YouTube, and so on. Smash the subscribe there. And with that, until next time, stay safe. Always stay extreme. Keep slamming and jamming, you Slam Jam bronies, and we are off the air. Boom.